What is up, guys? My name is Mark Santamaria. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Tamiya Tuesday. Tamiya Tuesday is back. Look at it. Oh, guys, this is definitely so far. I've only built 3 Tamiyas, actually not including TTO1s and TTO1Es, TTO2s, but 3 vintage Tamiyas, and this one right now is by far my favorite. I mean, look at this thing. Oh, it is freaking beautiful. Look at, oh, geez. Whenever I first saw one fully built, Doug, he brought one to the trail run, the crawl and hike, MSM Moonlight Crawlers hike, and I saw it and I was like, wow, I need to build it. But look at how clean this thing is. It is so freaking beautiful. Anyways, it's done. I drove it. I did drive it. Most Tamiyas I don't drive. I drive just a little bit, just see how they handle, but I'll put it here so you guys can see it better because, oh, it looks so good. So in regards to the build took a little bit longer than the other cars I built, Tamiya cars I built, mainly because of the shocks. So the other cars that I have didn't really have as intricate of shocks. Like, there's nothing crazy about the shocks. However, it was a little bit more. There were more pieces to it. So I ended up taking a little bit more time on the shocks. Also, the rear suspension and drivetrain, there's a lot of, like, you got to hold this here and then put this together and then screw this together while you're holding this. A lot of that kind of stuff. It's not bad once it's in there. But like the dog bone is loose, everything in there is loose. It's just kind of sitting there. So you got to make sure you put everything together at once in order for it to hold. So that took a little bit of time. I didn't put the little nets. They're supposed to be nets. Like they come with some black netting that you cut out and you put around like the cab area. I didn't do that because anytime I tried to do it at first and then I couldn't get it where it looked clean. And I was like, man, this isn't even worth it. It looks really good like this anyway. So I didn't do the nets. You do have to cut the stickers. But the sticker cutting wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's not that bad. I've gotten really used to cutting stickers. Basically, I just freehand with an X-Acto knife. Just don't push really hard. I used the Traxxas pit mat. That was a little pointer that Doug told me. Doug's the guy who kind of got me into all the vintage Tamiya stuff. But I used the Traxxas pit mat and I just kind of freehanded with an X-Acto knife to get the stickers out. It took a little while, but it really wasn't that bad. It's a lot worse than, it's only bad if you make it bad, and I kind of make it bad. These rear parts are kind of interesting. This rear, so basically it comes with 2 square pieces like this for this rear wing thing. But this side, you need to cut it out around the motor here. That wasn't like you actually have to measure it and cut it. It doesn't look that good, but it looks good enough where it's not so bad. The wheels and tires are way easier to put together than the Grasshopper. So I only have the Grasshopper and Grasshopper 2. I've only built the Grasshopper, Grasshopper 2, and this is my 3rd one. So the only things I have to compare to are the Grasshoppers. These wheels and tires are way easier to build. You don't have to glue them or anything, and they actually handle pretty well. I'm actually very surprised how well it drove. First off, whenever I put it down and just gave it gas, it was super fast. I drove it inside the house at first, and on carpet, it will definitely pull the wheels off the ground like all the way, like dragging bumper, pull the wheels off the ground. I ended up driving it in kind of my driveway and in a parking lot, and it's way faster than I thought it would be. Like, I thought it was going to be like the Grasshopper. This has a bigger motor. So the Grasshopper has, I believe, a 380 size motor. This is a 540 size motor. This one is way faster, like big time faster. I put it off-road. I thought that it was going to kind of peel out, get caught up in some grass and stop. No, it actually went through everything really well. It actually handled off-road really well. It climbed up the hills, and it just looks so cool. I mean, it looks like a vintage hobby car, which is exactly what it is. Oh man, I love this thing, and driving it was a dream. Again, so much better than I thought it would be. The little antenna, this thing, I mean, it's not like a purposeful antenna, but I just like the look. I think it looks cool. You can't really see it that much unless you're like actually seeing it in person, but it moves around whenever you drive it, so it kind of gives it that vintage look. Man, I am just blown away. So there's not much I didn't like about the car, but there's actually only 2 things I didn't like. One, this one is the Hobby Wing version. So this one came with the Hobby Wing ESC. Although the ESC is really good and it has that Hobby Wing noise when you hit the brake, it's got a very smooth throttle curve. It felt really good. However, down here on the bottom, there's actually a spot to mount the switch on your typical Tamiya ESC. See how there's no switch there? Because the Hobby Wing switch doesn't mount in there. So the Hobby Wing switch is really little. I basically two-sided taped it on the inside of like the tub of the car. So that way I kind of stick my finger up under there and then turn it on. But there's not like a really cool integrated way to put the switch because it's that Hobbywing ESC. The ESC is great. There's not much programming options. The programming options are basically jumper pins that you move. You can do Lipo, and then you can do, I think, brake, maybe 50% brake or something like that. I'm not sure, but there's not very many options there. Not very tunable, but it's very smooth throttle curve, very smooth braking, but the switch does not mount in there. The other thing I wasn't the biggest fan of is, see down here, you can, like, the bottom is see-through. So I get it, like if you're running like a nickel metal hydride battery, which is what these things are designed for, you're not too worried about your battery getting damaged. However, if you're driving with a Lipo and your Lipo is exposed, which it is exposed on the bottom, and let's say you hit a rock or something and it hits that Lipo, it could potentially pierce the cell and cause fire. Not the biggest fan of that. Not a problem because I don't drive it hard. I do like the battery bar. The battery bar is like this carbon, not, I guess, kind of carbon fiber, kind of carbon fiberglass battery bar. It's very nice, very clean. Look at it down there. But I didn't like how the battery wasn't completely covered up like on the Grasshopper and the Grasshopper 2. Overall, guys, I highly recommend you get this car. So they don't have this car anymore. You might be able to find the, I think they call this one the, this one is the Wild One Blockhead Motors edition, I believe. But there's another Wild One that's red and black. I was supposed to order it. Doug let me know that it was available at A-Main. It might still be available at A-Main. They did a limited run of those. I didn't get one. But I don't know if you can get this color anymore. I really like this color. I think baby blue is part of my paint scheme. I think it looks really, really good. This was definitely the best looking car, to me, a car I built. But I'll put a link in the description below to the ones that I can find, or at least maybe you can back order them. Maybe they'll come in. But I highly recommend, if you are interested in Tamiyas, you started building Tamiyas, or you want to start building Tamiyas, this vintage Tamiya is freaking awesome. I mean, look at it. It is definitely a shelf queen. It's going up on my shelf, and I'm going to put it in my office shelf. That way, every time I leave my office, I can see it. Oh, it looks so freaking good. Well, I hope you liked this video, guys. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and you guys will see me next time. Later, guys.